Hello everyone, welcome back to ErikaBuilds and another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are in the world of Brindleton Bay working on a very large rustic farmhouse. This house is really huge. If you're looking for a house for a big family, like a generations family, maybe with parents and grandparents, lots of kids, you might really like this one. I found it on an Instagram search, and I'm showing you a picture of the real house now. And when I saw this, I really felt like it was pretty doable for the Sims, just like the overall shape of the house and the style. And so I thought it'd be worth giving it a shot to recreate it. And actually, I have to say, as hard as I am on myself, I really feel like this recreation does look very similar to the original house. Of course, the number one challenge was the windows, because the white siding was easy to imitate, and the overall shape of like the roof line and stuff was all very easy. But I did have quite a bit of trouble with the windows and had to change them several times until I got them the way that I thought they would look the closest to the original. But this house, I have to say, it's very rustic, but more rustic probably than even some of the builds, other rustic type builds that I've done. And my inspiration was mainly also from Instagram, because I'm always seeing a lot of rustic interiors on a lot of the accounts that I follow. And so definitely I was thinking of those as I was planning out the interior of this house. The exterior, I had to, okay, this video was so long because I worked on this house for like 3 days. And even with, stopping and starting the recording, I think I still had about 8 hours of footage. And even when I sped it up, it was still like 2 hours. And so I had to really hack into this one to get it down close to 30 minutes. So you'll notice a lot of big time skips, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm trying to keep my video length down, because I know just looking at like all the information that I get from YouTube, people really only watch, about 10 minutes of the build. And so the hard thing is when you build really giant houses like this, this house in particular has 5 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, and it just takes a very long time. So getting it down to 30 minutes, basically I just cut out all the bathrooms, all the landscaping, and it still was really too long. But I'm trying. I'm trying to get the video length down a little bit. So anyway, as we're kind of watching this build, I wanted to mention that we have the new expansion pack coming out in a couple of weeks called Eco Lifestyles. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'm not like a giant fan of this pack, but there are some really cool things that are coming that I am excited about. I'm very excited that we're going to have free placement of windows, which is going to make my life so much easier. I'm always complaining all the time how I can't get the windows in the right alignment, especially when dealing with odd numbered windows and even numbered windows being in alignment with each other, things like that. So very excited. And that's actually part of just the patch update, like free for everyone. So that'll be great. And then in the pack, there is some new building materials, and there are tons of plants, which is great for me with interiors, because I feel like I use the same 10 plants over and over again. So I'm very excited for plants. There's some really nice bookshelves and some wall shelves I'm really excited about. So yeah, there are some new things coming that I think I will be able to incorporate into my homes. As you probably know, I don't I don't really know how to build like container builds or eco houses. I don't really have any sort of like knowledge of that. And so I'm always looking through the build by trying to think, okay, what's in this pack that I can use for the kinds of houses that I like to build? Because, this is a game and we're doing it for fun and to relax. And so for me, it's kind of fun to go through the packs and think, okay, maybe this isn't a pack necessarily that screams, to me that I would want to, as far as like the gameplay aspect. But it's fun to look for like new build by items and stuff that I can use. It definitely makes it more interesting too, because I feel like I'm always using the same stuff over and over again. And I do know that we're getting more packs this year, so it's exciting to think that we'll even be we'll have more new building materials that we can work with. So yeah, as I've been talking and rambling on and on, you've seen here the house is coming together. Luckily, the website for the architect of this house had pictures of all 4 sides, which was super, super helpful. So I was able to recreate the entire house, and the general layout of the interior, I also followed the architect because it really had a nice layout. There were only a couple of things that I didn't really like, but for the most part, I did really like this floor plan. So this house is your very typical, what I would call a modern farmhouse, is in where you kind of take these farmhouse elements, but you mix them with sort of like modern touches, like the windows and the interior and things. But there's definitely a lot of rustic and country elements in this build. So you're going to see a lot of dark wood mixed with a lot of like the type of like country sort of decor that we got with stuff like cats and dogs, laundry day, stuff like that. But I tried because I really don't want to be repetitive and I don't want to be boring. And so I really tried to think outside the box a little bit, especially when I started working on this kitchen. Now, typically for me, when I do a country kitchen, I'm using a lot of Parenthood cabinets and tiles, and I kind of have like a certain go-to look that I usually do. But for this kitchen, I was really inspired by a kitchen that I saw on Instagram that had this subway brick, which is very modern, mixed with this very dark, rough cut wood cabinetry. So I used the cabinets from Jungle Adventure because I think those are pretty much the only cabinets that we have in the game that are going to be rustic enough and just sort of like rough cut wood to go with kind of this theme that I was looking for. And also in the original house plan, there was a huge kitchen bar, which I really liked the idea of having. This house sleeps up to 8 Sims. And so I wanted to make sure that there was tons of seating and places for the family to hang out and to eat and to do their homework. Because anytime you're dealing with a full 8 Sim household, you need a lot of space. So that they, are not all fighting for room in the kitchen to have their snacks and cook and stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of like the idea of having just a big family farmhouse. And so I also did a little hearth room area kind of built into this kitchen with the masonry fireplace, and I used a lot of dark furniture like that desk and this hutch and cabinet. Again, tying it into the cabinets that I chose and just really trying to make this kitchen feel very homey, very warm, just that rustic country sort of down home farmhouse type of feeling. And I've mentioned before in the channel that I live in a very rural area. out in the middle of nowhere, like no pizza delivery out here. I mean, we're really far out in the country. And so I feel like I have a little bit of this personal experience, I guess, dealing with this. And I have kind of, certain things that I always go to when kind of doing these farmhouses. I got on a huge kick with farmhouses last year. If you're new to my channel and you like farmhouses, I recommend going back and looking at some of the ones that I built last year, because I think I built about, I don't know, 5 or 10. There are a lot. and so this one I think has a kind of a unique interior compared to those other ones. Like I said before, I was purposely trying to choose some stuff that was a little bit new. Now, these windows that I've used in the house are from the Moschino stuff pack. So very, very, very modern, but really they work perfectly for this kind of farmhouse type build. And I especially like how they tilt out, because when I think about life in the country, I always think about open windows and breezes coming through and stuff. Anyway, I'm just kind of losing myself in this build and thinking about all these different things that I want to incorporate into the house. And like I said, I spent about 3 days working on it. And I really wanted this interior to be perfect. Of course, I always want my interiors to be perfect. I'm very hard on myself when it comes to, how things look and how they turn out in the end. And I have to say, as of right now, I actually like this house a lot. So hopefully it'll stay that way. This is one that I definitely want to play with. And I've mentioned before, I have the aging turned off in my game. So I have very, very large Sims families that I play with. And I don't age people up very often. And when I do, like once they hit an elder, like that's it. There's no death in my game. I still have the original Sims that I had from day one of playing Sims 4. So yeah. Everyone is still alive. And so I have really giant families. So I think that's why I build a lot of 8 Sim family houses, because I always think of kind of the way that I like to play the game. And with this build in particular, I actually made a bedroom for grandparents, which I haven't done in a while, but was very common for me last year when I was doing a lot of other big farmhouse builds, because I kind of think about in the country, out here, I guess in the middle of nowhere, we do have a lot of big families and a lot of people whose grandparents still live either with them or close by them. And I think it's just a cultural thing that's just kind of part of how life works. I don't know, maybe because we have a lot more land and space, where it's not like, a tiny apartment with your grandparents may not sound like that much fun, but in a big house like this, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe the grandparents can help with babysitting and with cooking and, all living together, and lots of space where they won't be getting in each other's way. So yeah, as this kitchen's coming together more and more, you see all the decor I pulled out was very much country style and family style. Lots of stuff from Jungle Adventure, which I always say, I feel like I'm the ambassador for the Jungle Adventure pack. But really, if you like country homes, or you like farmhouses, or you like rustic builds, you really have to have Jungle Adventure. It's just got the key important build items that you'll need when trying to achieve that kind of look. And of course, cats and dogs, there's a lot of that, especially as we get into the living room, which you'll see more of in a second. Now here on the island, I originally had the sink, and then later I moved the sink over by the window and put the stove here at the island instead, with this nice big hood over it. And I like the thought of just, maybe like mom or dad standing at the stove, all the family gathered around. Maybe the kids are sitting at the bar doing their homework, and everybody's just like talking and having all this family time. I don't know. It just seems like the ideal sort of family situation. So yeah, I really like how that turned out. And then there is a full formal dining room right off the kitchen here, which is more jungle adventure. This jungle adventure dining room set, the chairs in the dark wood only come with one seat cushion choice, and it's this sort of turquoise aqua color, which really doesn't scream country to me. It's a little bit more I don't know, it's a little bit more cityfied, I guess, to have that bright color. And so I wanted to incorporate some extra country sort of elements so it would still match with the kitchen, because of course, especially with it being all open to the kitchen, it's got a vibe in sort of the same way. So hopefully you think I achieved that look. These curtains are from Seasons and the rug is from Jungle Adventure, but the colors all go together really nicely. And I feel like, especially with the woods from Jungle Adventure in here matching the kitchen, I feel like it kind of achieved that uniformity where it all just flows together really nicely. Oh, and I didn't mention the flooring, but this is a base game flooring that's just called like raw floorboards or something. I don't know. But I just really, really like it for this farmhouse. And I think that's new for me because in the other farmhouses that I've built, I don't think I've used this kind of flooring before. But really, the more I worked with it, the more I loved it, because I just feel like even in a modern farmhouse, you know, you want to have those touches of things that are old. And so I felt like the floors looked like maybe they were the original, you know, hand scraped floors that had been refurbished into looking new again. And I kind of liked that for the whole theme of the house. Yeah, so just finishing up this dining room, you'll see just on the right side of the screen, there is another little room, which at first I was going to make it a breakfast nook, but then I thought, no, I've already got this huge dining room and this giant bar. I really didn't need another eating area. And so I turned it into a sitting room with a lot of furniture from the Laundry Day pack. And I put an easel in there. And so it kind of turned in to just like a sitting room slash art room. You could even put a desk with a computer in there because there is no office on this main floor. You could do that, but I had already put a computer in the kitchen, so I feel like they need like another computer area. So yeah, it's definitely just more of like a casual sitting room, and there's lots of plants and giant windows and a big ceiling fan. I don't know. It's just your typical like Southern type indoor porch sitting room type area. And the reason I'm telling you about it is because I ended up cutting the footage out of the video. Like I said, I really had to hack into this one and cut out a ton of rooms just because it was so long. And also I cut out the part of the entryway, which wasn't super exciting. I had a table and a grandfather clock and just all, you know, coats and umbrellas, thermostat, all that kind of stuff. And the stairs that go up to the second floor are also in the entry. Now, this is the living room, or great room, I guess you would say. It's very large, and there's a second fireplace in here. And I wanted to kind of brighten it up because the rest of the house had been pretty dark so far with all the wood, dark wood. And so I went with this sort of off-white set from Cats and Dogs, and I just felt like it kind of gave the living room just a little bit of a different feel. It's a little more bright and airy, especially with these big windows overlooking the pool out back. And I liked that because I felt like it gave a very different feeling than the sitting room. The sitting room is a little bit more dark and kind of floral, and then this I feel like is more bright and almost kind of a little bit of a New Englandy vibe, probably because these couches are from Cats and Dogs. But yeah, and then I put a TV in here and just, you know, bookcases and all your typical kind of like living room stuff. It's a very large room. In fact, in the original house, this was actually 2 rooms. It was a living room and it was a den off the kitchen. But I didn't really, that was probably the one thing about the architects, the original house, I didn't really understand, is why you would have that living room and den just right next to each other. So that's why I decided to just open up this room and just make it one big great room. And I just liked it better that way. And there's a door that goes to the back porch from here. But that porch is also accessible from the kitchen. So you've got 2 exits there that go out to the back. And let's see, the coffee table is from Jungle Adventure. Everything else, like I said before, is cats and dogs. Curtains are from Seasons. Rug is from Cats and Dogs. I would say if you're downloading this house from the gallery, and as long as you have Jungle Adventure, Seasons, Cats and Dogs, you're gonna get a majority of everything that I used as far as like the furniture. Now, of course, when it gets down to decor and clutter, I cluttered this house up quite a lot, and so I did use all packs. So if you download it, you may notice a lot of empty areas where clutter and decor and stuff will be missing. But for the most part, as far as like the big furniture, I would say those 3 packs are the ones that I really stuck to. And let's see, yeah, there's that door that goes to the back porch, and this living room actually has a lot of doors. And then, okay, so there was a bathroom there. I forgot that I had also cut that out, but right between the living room and the front entry, there is a bathroom, like a guest bath. And then now we're back in the back left corner of the house. This was actually the 3rd car garage in the original house. But I already had made a 2-car garage, and I didn't really feel like I needed a 3rd car, especially since the cars, you know, are just for decoration. And so I made this 3rd garage bay into a laundry room, mud room. Of course, all this stuff is from Laundry Day. The wallpaper is actually from Realm of Magic. And I think this is the first time I've used this combination of Realm of Magic and Laundry Day. I really, really like, though, how the colors of the tile and the rug and everything, how it matched the paint on the upper part of that Realm of Magic tile wallpaper. I just think it really matches nicely. It feels very homey to me and country, but it also gives a lot of color, which is a nice contrast from the very bright white furniture and decor of the living room area. Most of the stuff in here is from Laundry Day, mixed with a few other odds and ends. Like I said before, definitely kind of going for that mudroom feeling. There's a door here that goes out to the backyard, where you'll see I built a little bit of a shed type barn in the back. When I was doing the yard, I was definitely thinking about, you know, farm life. So there's a lot of places to plant vegetables and flower gardens and all kinds of like flower carts and wheelbarrows and beekeeping boxes. And I don't know, I was just thinking of all the things that maybe you would have out living in the country. So yeah, it's nice that there's a big living or laundry room to come into from the outside. Then another bit of a time jump, but we're up here now working on the 2nd floor, and this is the grandparents' room. Or, you know, it wouldn't have to be, but that's kind of what I was envisioning it as. So I kind of wanted this room to be a little bit more old-fashioned. I went for this bed from Cats and Dogs that has the quilt. That gives a very much a grandparents sort of vibe, I feel. And the wood in here is kind of this golden honey colored wood, which reminds me very much of like older homes. You don't really see that color of wood being used nowadays. So I thought maybe the grandparents had brought this furniture from their house where they used to live, or maybe this used to be their house and then the kids and grandkids came in and kind of took it over. Yeah, so another little jump I skipped out, but they have a bathroom there connected to their room. that is done also in cats and dogs. It has like double sinks and a tub and shower. And then this is the child's bedroom. It's a little bit small, but it still had plenty of room for like a desk with a computer. This is also from Cats and Dogs. The way I did these bedrooms is I did one for the grandparents, one for the parents, then I did a teen and a child and a toddler. So it is truly a generation's home. It has every life stage of The Sims. So yeah, this one is for the child. And I wasn't really thinking of any particular like hobbies or personalities when I was working on these kids' rooms. Mainly, I just really liked this bed from Cats and Dogs with the blue and sort of like seafoam green combo. I felt like it was very fitting for this sort of farmhouse feel. And this is just their little desk area with the laptop, and there's a little bookcase and, you know, typical like kid type decor, a few toys, and pretty much everything a kid will need, even in a very small room like this. Again, these are these windows from the Moschino stuff pack, which have this sort of like tilted feature, which I really think looks neat. Looks like the windows are open, letting in the breeze. And yeah, this little, I like this little animal bookcase with the animal rug. It just feels very fun and very much like this kid is just got, you know, something that's very cute and very fitting for their sort of like stage of life. Yeah. And so this child also has a bathroom that they share with the toddler. So the door to the bathroom is actually out in the hallway. But the child and the toddler are the ones that have access to it really the best. And so I went with a very kid themed design in there with parenthood, with the shower curtain, with the elephants, and there's double sinks and a regular toilet and a toddler potty seat. So yeah, it's nice. They have their own bathroom separate from the teen and from the parents and grandparents. There are a total of 6 bathrooms in this house. I think that was about 30 minutes of footage that I cut out just doing bathrooms. Yeah, so it has a lot of those, and they're all kind of a little bit different. Most have Cats and Dogs or Parenthood, but all the colors are very much matching to the bedroom. So the grandparents kind of had that orangey tone in their room, so their bathroom had that, and then the kids, you know, kind of the brighter pastels and stuff, so their bathroom was matching to that. And yeah, so here we go. This is the toddler room. Again, it's kind of small, but I had plenty of room in here to have, you know, toddler bed, dollhouse, toddler tablet, building blocks, toy box. So even though it's a little bit on the small side, there was plenty of room for, you know, everything that the toddler will need. I did kind of that little small cubby style drawers for them, and there's a bookcase in here. So yeah, quite a bit. I like this green. I feel like it's very springy and colorful. I kind of had to fight the urge to make this a fall build, but I really kind of purposely tried not to do a particular season for this home. I would just say it definitely has, I think, a mixture of like spring and summer tones in a lot of the rooms, which is, I guess, very fitting for this time of year that I'm putting this video on the channel. Yeah, so let's see. I'm just adding a few little toys there, and a lot of this stuff is base game, so you probably are used to seeing all of these things. And then the next bedroom is, I believe, the parents, and they also have their own bathroom, but their bathroom is huge. It has a giant walk-in closet. I used those closet, closet, I don't know what you call them. The ones from Get Famous where you can like see the clothes. I used those to make the walk-in closet, and then they also have a big corner tub and double sinks. So yeah, the parents have like a really over-the-top bathroom. It's very luxurious. This is their bedroom you're seeing now, which is done in a blue and gray. I kind of wanted the parents to have a little bit of a country touch with the 4-poster bed, but the colors I feel like are a little more modern. So maybe they like the farmhouse, but they're kind of going more for like the modern farmhouse look. Where grandparents' bedroom is just the full-on, country experience. There on the top of the screen, you can kind of get a peek at the little barn shed area and the pool. And like I said, there's lots of plants and lots of outdoor sort of like gardening stuff. Because I just imagine that this family is very outdoorsy. And their farmhouse, actually, this would be a nice build to even put on like a bigger lot, because this is a 40 by 30 that I built it on. But you could actually put this house on like a 50 by 50 or even a 64 by 64 if you wanted, and kind of go a little more crazy with the farming. Like you could do, rows of like vegetables and stuff, and kind of like just decorate around the existing build. That would be kind of fun if you feel like, you want to do some extra landscaping and make like a full-fledged farm out of this build. And, I think I was definitely one of those people who was kind of holding my breath that we were getting a farming expansion pack, because that just sounded awesome to me. And I just imagined that all the furniture would be exactly the kind of furniture that I would like. But sadly, it did not happen. But maybe it will. Who knows? Maybe it's coming later this year. That would be great. But yeah, I think ever since that I got a little bit disappointed that we did not get the farming expansion, that I've been thinking that I wanted to go back and do another farmhouse build. Here, another little time jump. I had to cut out the master bathroom because that was a whole experience. It took forever. This is the teens room. This is the final bedroom, and it's done with a lot of pinks and sort of this bright peachy pink that you find in the Parenthood pack that I mixed with the bed from Cats and Dogs. So this room is a little more grown up. I'm thinking that like a teenager or a young adult who's either in high school or college. They have a nice little desk area that I tucked in by the window, and they have a bookcase in here, but really it's not like a ton of space. But they have a really big bathroom. So I think any teenager would be very thrilled to have a giant bathroom with double sinks and tub shower and space. So yeah, I think it turned out in the end that the floor plan worked out logically. Of course, if you ever want your family to have more toys, you want to really go crazy with a lot of big doll houses, or we have so many fun kids things in the game that we can add. One thing that I do a lot of times is just add a basement. So if I really want the kids to have a lot more activities and toys and stuff, I'll just add a basement to a house, and then I can go see. I have some basements in my game that have like those full gigantic like toddler slide sets like you see in like a park that are like in the basement. It's a little bit crazy, but yeah, I always think it's kind of fun when the kids have like a lot of places to play. Here's that little desk area I was talking about. I just think this looks so nice. I could just sit here and do your homework and look out the window, and it's such a nice amount of sunlight coming in. So yeah, that's going to be it for this build. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like this house? Do you have other ideas for things that you would like to see on the channel? I'm always anxious to hear about those ideas that you have. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'm sure I'll be back again soon with another speed build. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all again next time. So have a great week. Bye-bye.